Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast of your favorite team with a 2-game winning streak. The Sharks, they won. They beat the Dallas Stars. They beat the Minnesota Wild. They are winning games right now. So we're going to break down the weekend that was of hockey in San Jose. So all that and more on today's episode of Locked On Sharks.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm your host, JD Young, contributor at Fear the Fin and San Jose Hockey Now. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch this bad boy on YouTube as well. And the Sharks, San Jose in general, busy weekend of hockey. So we're going to cover the Dallas Stars win, the 5-4 win over the Dallas Stars. And then we're going to cover the 3-2 shootout win over the Minnesota Wild. And then if there's time, we'll talk a little Barracuda at the very, very end, just because I wasn't able to do a live show, but because I was actually at the game on Saturday. But we'll start in chronological order and start with the Dallas game. And then middle, we'll talk about the Wild game. And the big takeaway from this one is the Sharks kind of got a little lucky with this one, winning 5-4. My big thing is you're not going to win a lot of games when you get 18 shots on goal and you score 5 goals on 18 shots on goal. Jake Ottinger, first game back, you could definitely tell there was some rust there, but the Sharks got the win and they got goals from a lot of key people in this game. Timo Meier scoring, Logan Couture scoring, Tomas Hertl scoring. A lot of the big names kind of showed up for this game for the Sharks, and then you got some depth scoring from Svechnikov and Barabanov. Basically, the only person who didn't get on the scorer sheet for the Sharks was Erik Karlsson in this game, but it definitely was a little worrisome with the way that they played, especially in the third period. I know they scored the Tomas Hertl scored right to start the third period, but then, giving up 2 goals to make this a game, and it felt like Dallas was going to tie this game up basically at any moment just because of all the momentum they have in this game. It's not a winning recipe for the Sharks there to, basically just be crushed in the shots. At all situations in the shots. So just a quick reminder, shots for 29-18 in favor of the Stars. Shot attempts was 75-30 in all situations. The Sharks did a good job of making their shots count. They had a lot more high danger chances, but it's not a lot more. Sorry, the high danger chance, we're pretty close, but Sharks did a good job of kind of making their shots count. But it's a tightrope to walk on in that game, especially when you play a high-powered offense like Dallas. And Dallas was really close to kind of scoring tying that game up and bringing it to overtime. But in that game, I think the big kind of takeaway was, with the lines, the Logan Couture line did pretty well. They had 9, so they had 9 shot attempts out of the 30 that the Sharks had. That's a lot. That's a good chunk of it right there. Actual shots on goal was 6-3 for that line. So that line did their job. They were awesome that whole night. But the third line of Cunnin, Benito, Sturm got wrecked. And when I say wrecked, brutally, zero shot attempts, and they gave up 15 shot attempts. Actual shots on goal was 0-6. They gave up 3 goals as well. So, a win's a win, and you're happy the Sharks won, and they were able to kind of get into a shootout type of game, and they held they had a big enough cushion where they could kind of make some mistakes at the end of that third period. But it's not a recipe for success, especially with this team when they're so limited offensively. That you got lucky with some puck luck that night on Friday night, and you're going to take that. It's just you don't want to try to win every game with 20 shots on goal and hope that you can score on basically a quarter of your shots or almost a third of your shots in this case. So, big win for the Sharks there. And I think the funniest thing had to be the Jamie Benn Logan Couture fight where, and it's so stupid with the Couture had a clean hit and Jamie Benn took, I don't know, he didn't like the clean hit. It's so dumb how you can't have a clean hit in hockey without there being a fight. And I would be the first to, I'm not the biggest hit guy. I'm not the biggest fight guy, but there was no need for this fight. And the fight itself was really funny, especially because basically Couture took 2 swings and Ben was just like, dude, we're not going to do this. So congrats to Logan Couture on his first career Gordie Howe hat trick. Kudos to you, buddy, on that. But, again, the big boys came out and played on Friday night, and you love to see that again. Hurdle's been on fire now. Timo Meier scoring. I think that was 5 goals or 6 goals in 5 games for him. It's starting to come together for some of these top line guys. And Couture, I was a little worried about Couture, but he has been kind of finding hit, and he's producing offensively. So as long as he can continue to produce offensively, kind of make up for some of the lackluster analytics, but he's producing right now. It seems like him and Barabanov have really, really good chemistry. Still not, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm still not a big fan of having Matt Nieto on that line with him, but right now there's just nobody else to kind of replace him. So you know exactly what you're getting out of Matt Nieto. It's fine, whatever. I know Svechnikov, I think he jumped up there for a good chunk of that game on Friday. He played awesome on Friday, but it was a little tough to see him not rewarded for that on Sunday's game with the Wild. I would like to. I think with Svechnikov, at least you get some scoring with him. Well, Matt Nieto, again, we know exactly what we're getting from Matt Nieto. Lindblom, starting to see a little bit out of Lindblom. He's set up made a nice play to help set up the Svechnikov goal. He won a battle there, put the puck out right in the middle. Svechnikov was able to clean that up there. So starting to see a little bit from Lindblom here. I know a lot of fans not happy with Lindblom at all. Feel like he's been invisible. So gonna hopefully start to see a little bit more from Lindblom. All right, before we get into Sunday's come from behind Wild game, let's take a quick break. Talk to you guys about our friends over at SimpliSafe. This time of year, people, it's tough this time of year. Property crimes like burglaries and package theft spike. People ordering Christmas presents. They have more stuff in their house right now. That's where SimpliSafe can come in and help you out. They're offering a 50% off their award-winning security system so that more families can feel safe and secure this holiday season. Order your SimpliSafe system for the half off today. Enjoy advanced security and greater peace of mind this holiday season. In an emergency, 24/7 professional monitoring agents use Fast Protect technology exclusively from SimpliSafe to capture critical evidence and verify the threat is real so you can get priority police response. They have HD security cameras that cover your whole home. You get indoor cameras, outdoor cameras. They have sensors for every room, window, and door. And with hazards detectors, they can detect fires, trees. Sometimes that's the worst thing, that live trees, they catch on fire sometimes, floods, and other threats to your home. 24/7 professional monitoring service costs less than $1 a day and less half the price of ADT's traditional professionally installed system. So go check them out. This is your opportunity to save big on the only home security system I recommend. Get 50% off any new SimpliSafe system at simplisafe.com/lockedonnhl. This is our biggest discount of the year, so do not wait. That's simplisafe.com/lockedonnhl. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. All right, let's get into the Wild game. So Sharks finally win a shootout. It feels like it's been forever since they won a shootout game, but they win 3-2 over the Minnesota Wild. These early start games, especially for the Pacific teams, I know they're on the road right now. They should be used to, the time zone difference right now, especially on their third game. Third out of 4 on the road. All of them have been kind of in the central time zone, but kind of the first period just brutal. Like, I'm not gonna lie, but this team showed a lot of kind of guts and fortitude to crawl back into this game, getting 2 goals in the third period and then hanging in there in the overtime and then winning it in the shootout. And like, this starting to see a little, the David Quinn system is starting to kind of come into place here. So again, I don't think this is going to be a big turning point for the Sharks where they're like going to look back and be like, this is the moment where they won it all. But it's good to see them not just kind of like from years before where it's like, oh, they're down 2 goals. Okay, this game's over. Let's just kind of lie down and wait for the next game. And this was the game where you got the secondary scoring, right? Nico Sturm scores. I know he's 6 in goals and he's up there amongst the team leaders, but you signed Nico Sturm to be secondary scoring and he's been providing it. Steven Lorentz, added a nice goal on, a nice kind of dirty goal there. Yes, nice kind of dirty goal. But these are, if you can start getting more of the secondary scoring, and that takes the pressure off your top guys. So again, Friday's game was all about the big boys, the top line guys scoring. And then Sunday, the Sharks crawled back in this game because of, contributions from these secondary guys like Lorentz and Sturm. Vlasic had 2 assists today. That's crazy. Vlasic had 2. So Vlasic has 3 assists on the season, and 2 of them came in Sunday's game. Erik Karlsson added a nice assist on Nico Sturm, his goal there as well. So again, just this, they looked dead in the water the way that this game started, especially after the first period for the Wild. They had 23 shot attempts to the Sharks 13. This is at 5-on-5. All situations, it was 23-14. So when they each had a power play, the Sharks did a good job of kind of getting those high danger chances, but the Wild just kind of controlled the pace of play in especially that first period. But then you saw they crawled back into it. Now, if you skip ahead to the third period, Sharks 29 shot attempts compared to the Wild's 15. Actual shots on goal was 18-6. Scoring chances 19-6. I know they were down 2 goals for a majority of this period, but they were able to get some offense going when they desperately needed. Expected goals, and these goals weren't fluky too. Like, expected goals for the Sharks in the third period at all situations, 1.62. They scored 2 goals. Like, they earned those 2 goals from the Wild. So, they weren't fluky goals. It wasn't like Friday's game where they were definitely outproducing what they were expected. So, and you look at the Corsi where it's wild, and then you just see the Sharks kind of crawl back into it and make it even by the end of the game. So, and it's Reimer definitely kind of saved their bacon a little bit in this game too. In all situations. So he faced 30 shots, gave up, had 28 saves, 2 goals for. Expected goals was 2.48. So pretty much did what he was asking. For him, he's doing all the, he's making all the saves he needs to make, right? He had 4 low danger shots. So the Sharks didn't do a good job of making it easy for Reimer. 12 mid danger, and then he saved 7 of 9 for high danger saves. So the Wild did a really good job of getting in close and getting those high quality chances. And Reimer, he stood there and hung in there, and that's why he is the number 1 goalie. I mean, Quinn said, right, it's Reimer's job right now, and he's going to get the start on Thursday, and he's going to get the majority of the starts, especially the way Kaapo Kähkönen has started this season. So, I think kind of my big takeaway from this weekend is it's Reimer's job. Timo, Hurdle, Couture, those guys are producing right now. We're starting to get some of these secondary guys, if Sturm, Svechnikov, guys like Lawrence starting to produce as well. And the Sharks, this is going to be their formula, right? They're going to have to win a lot of, if they're going to win games, it's going to be a lot of these 3-2, 4-3 close games. And don't expect more stuff like the Stars, expect more stuff like the Wild game where you're going to win a lot of these just kind of ugly, close games because they don't have a lot of the top tier talent to be able to kind of run and gun like you saw on Friday. Friday was really fun, but it's just, I don't see that as kind of their way of going forward. So, but you got to give it to this team. Winning 2 games in a row, especially these are, Dallas and Minnesota are kind of dark horse cup teams. And, they won 2 games on the road. And, that Minnesota game, they came back, they crawled back. The Dallas game, they got lucky, but the big guy, the Stars were out in Dallas on Friday, and that's what they did. So, so we'll see. They got a huge game against Vegas on Tuesday. Now, if they can beat Vegas, then we can have another conversation of, is this team starting to get it together? That'd be 3 wins against 3 quality teams, especially Vegas right now is one of the best teams in the NHL. If they can win that game, then we're having another conversation of what is this team actually, and if they can actually start making a playoff push. But again, I still don't think this team is talented enough for a playoff push. I think they're going to be in a lot of games. I just don't think they have enough horses to win a lot of these games. So, but kudos to them. They played great this weekend. They, every time they made a mistake, they were able to come back and correct it or to overcome it. You look at the Erik Karlsson play, right, where he blows a tire, toe picks himself, and then gives up a shorthanded goal that gives at least a shorthanded goal. Again, they didn't beat themselves up. That's one thing I'll say about the David Quinn team is these teams, they're going to keep playing and they're going to keep fighting. We haven't seen that from this team, especially compared to previous coaches where, they give up 2 goals and then that's the end of it. So this team, they've got a little bit of oomph in them right now. So let's see where they go with it. Again, you've got Vegas, which is a huge game on Tuesday. And then I think you play the Red Wing. You start another homestand here. So let's kind of see where this team is at. Before we finish up, and then we talk a little CUDA to end the game this weekend. So a lot of hockey this weekend. So let's take a quick break. Talk to you guys about our friends over at BetOnline. You guys know BetOnline is the #1 source for sports betting information, stats, news, and analysis. Get all the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there. From football to basketball to soccer and esports, they've got you covered at betonline.net. If you love sports podcasts, you can check out those when you're done with this one, at least, as well. They're the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. So head to their website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. And when you guys are done listening to this podcast, make sure you guys go check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast. From the games that matter the most to the biggest stories in sports, go beyond the scoreboard and beyond the scenes with local experts and insights only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports Today, available on this app, YouTube, and wherever you get podcasts. All right, so we'll finish up with a little bit of CUDA talk. CUDA played, so I went to the game on Saturday where they won against Colorado, 2-1 in overtime. Super fun game. And then they lost 3-1 in a game that actually wasn't as close as the 3-1 says on Sunday. First thing, can we stagger the Sharks CUDA games just like half an hour or so? Just a little bit, guys, just a little bit. I know. Trying to watch both at the same time, a little difficult, especially then you have to deal with other stuff at the same time. Anyway, first world problems, but stagger the games, especially when they're both on at the same time. But I hear you guys, a lot of people worried about the rookie class. They're not lighting it up. Oh my gosh. What, everything is terrible. They're not, they're not dominating and stuff. Guys, it's game 12 of 72 for the Barracuda, okay? How many of these guys were not on the team last year that are now on the team, Like VL, Chichek, Raska, Hadaka, Merkley for like half the season. It's a lot of new faces on this team, and they're still trying to kind of figure things out. And the young guys are playing well, and they're getting put in opportunities, right? Robbins leads the team in goals. Your second round pick for 2020 leads the team in goals. I know he's kind of the quiet one of the 2020 draft class because we haven't gotten to see him as much. He didn't get to play at the Couture last year. He hasn't gotten to play in the NHL like Bordelot and Eklund have. But Robbins is really, really good, man. Like he is, leads the team in goals. And I think he's like 5th or 6th in all of the AHL among rookies in goals. On a team right now that is not producing a lot of goals. So he's doing what what you want. Bordelot has 4 goals on the season. I know he started out hot. He's cooled down a little bit. He's been playing on the 4th line here. I don't know if that's we want you to work on the little things type of move to try to, and then kind of move you up, or maybe some of the other guys have, Weatherby's been playing. Weatherby had a great game on Saturday night when I was there. He scored the goal, which was, nice goal, but the great job on the penalty kill. He was 1 on 4 on a penalty kill. He was taking on 4 guys behind Colorado's net, trying to, kill every single second that he could. He was all over the ice that night. Like that's again, Jasper Weatherby's like a perfect, awesome, like 3rd or 4th line center. That's what he has to do, right? He has to get better at doing that type of stuff, of playing penalty kill minutes, playing those kind of tough minutes, and doing that stuff in the AHL before he can do it in the NHL, right? William Eklund is one of the, I think he's like 7th or 8th in shots on goal from among rookies. And again, with Eklund, he is playing every opportunity they can get him out there. 5-on-5, power play, short-handed, okay? Again, with these guys, it's if you're not scoring goals, if you're not contributing to the score sheet, what else can you do for me? If you can't do other stuff, then David Quinn's going to say, cool, let me go find a guy like Matt Nieto who can do other stuff if he's not scoring. Okay? That's what they're doing right now. They're learning all this stuff so that way when they get to the NHL, we don't see those, hey, you're going to play 5 minutes tonight because I can't trust you to, in a close game. I can't trust you to play, power play. I can't trust you to play penalty kill. And again, if you're not scoring goals, what can you do for me right now? So that's what they're learning right now. And again, it's game 12 of 72 for a team that probably has 75% new faces right now. Okay. The rookie. Yes. New system, new faces. Again, this organization went through an entire, facelift, right? John McCarthy's new, I know he was there, but first time head coach, right? You have new assistants with the Barracuda. We have a new system from David Quinn. They want to make sure that the Quinn system and the Barracuda system, that they match, right? So it's going to take some time, but you have to be patient, okay? Let's calm down on the rookies. So, but yeah, some of the things that stood out to me, like I said, Weatherby was awesome, and hopefully, that was his first goal of the year, but hopefully he's going to start working into, being a potential. Jasper Weatherby is like a perfect 3rd or 4th line center in the NHL, and he's working his way to doing that. So again, let's calm down. They're not going to score a hat trick every game. You have to look at the little things for them too. So, and how are they playing the game? Because again, if you're not scoring, what else can you do for me to help create winning hockey? The goals will come. Okay. This team is very, very talented, but they're just very, very young right now. And, I think I said it a couple last week. The rookies, they're playing well, they're producing, but they're making those rookie mistakes, right? That's bound to happen. And the veterans, they're playing well. They're not making the same mistakes, but they're just not producing it as you would want. So once those things all come together later in the season, as they get more experience, they get more chemistry playing together, this team is going to be solid. And Dell was great on Saturday night when I saw him. That's why you have Aaron Dell to come in and hold down the fort. Makanemi, he's been playing great. He's just not getting run support, right? The Barracuda scored 1 goal on Sunday, and it was literally like in the last minute of the game when they had a power play, like just to keep the shutout from going, just not getting enough run support from Strauss, man. He's back from Wichita, and honestly, I don't think he should go back. It's unless they're just gonna ride with Dell and McAnemy right now. But man looked great the other day. I think that was Thursday night, right? So you have a lot of pieces. They're starting to come together. So let's calm down on the should you be worried about the Barracuda. Again, it's like 75% new roster compared to last year. So they'll be fine. They're way too talented to not. So, all right, that's going to do it for me today. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to preview the Vegas game. So we got a busy week here. We got Vegas. We got the Red Wings. Going to get you guys ready for all that. Going to make sure and then we'll cover those games as they happen. So make sure you guys are following along. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram over at Locked On Sharks. You can listen, of course, wherever you get podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Odyssey, all those places, Amazon Music. You can watch on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at myfryhole. We're going to get a lot of pro Dolphin stuff right now because 7-3, baby. Let's go. And then, go check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast. Go check out one of the other amazing podcasts on the network. And be back tomorrow to get you guys ready for Vegas. And until then, bye, friends.